Hello everybody. As advertised on the title, I'm doing my R is for Ring-Tailed Lemur page for my kids book. Now this isn't the background that I'm actually going to have. This was the background from a previous one, which was the Q is the Queen Charlotte Goshawk. But yeah, so anyway, to get the page dimensions, I just kind of copied it across. Now what I'm gonna have to try and do, I might start by do my warm-ups just by doing the text. Now I'm probably gonna go with a lighter color, and for some reason in Procreate, I'm not sure if this was by design or not, but if you make your line thickness the same size as the text size, it should match. I've been going with 37. I've been having a really hard time making the text fit, and this is a particularly text heavy page, this one, because I want to try and keep the text all the same size for the pages, so it's not like, see, look at that, the line width is pretty much just right. What are we on there? 37 for 37 size font. And so this is my way of creating my own text, is just draw over another one. That way you can get all your spacing and everything right. And it gives the look that I like. I don't like it when it looks like the text has just been put in there. It doesn't look very personalized to the book. I like to feel like the text is part of a book and hasn't just been added in as a bit of an afterthought. That's why I always have trouble as well trying to blend the background so the background doesn't completely detract from the text to make it impossible to read. Especially with my wallpaper designs in the background, which are often quite busy, I have to mute them right down to a place where you can read the text. Often I'll do that either by creating shadow over this side of a page, or the opposite, give it a bit of extra light and lighten things up, and then blur that, hit some spray paint down behind it, make it semi-transparent, add a bit of blur to it, and it makes the text pop a lot more. So who knows if I'll be going with, I need to think, so in my initial illustration that I did for the Ring-Tailed Lemur, I did black and white furry stripes as the background, which it's a bit like when I did my Okapi page. I did the Okapi's stripes, which are much like a zebra's stripes, but they're only on the Okapi's butt, and similarly with the Ring-Tailed Lemur, the stripes are only on its tail. And given that the style I've chosen is like a headshot of each animal, I feel it's probably important, like if there's a distinctive feature about the animal that is not included in the drawing, to include it in the background. Although I have been very tempted with the Ring-Tailed Lemur to change the background to a wallpaper of suns, because they are quite a sun-loving kind of creature. You often see them out there doing their yoga poses in the sun if you do any kind of search online you'll see some awesome shots of ring-tailed lemurs meditating in the sun. I don't know exactly why they do it. They sit upright with their arms stretched. It's almost exactly as a yoga pose. Exposing their bellies to the warmth of the sun. And I suppose this kind of, who doesn't enjoy getting out in the sun? The sun's good for you. The sun's often demonized. And it's actually really good for you. So I think we can probably learn a lot from the ring-tailed lemur. Get out in the sun. And this is in the early morning. They often do it when they're when it's a bit colder, and warm their bodies up and channel their inner calm. Now I'll put this up. I don't know if I'll see. Hide chat view is off. I want to see. Show chat view. I'll put chat view on just in case anybody's here. I haven't done this in forever. So I apologize if you're there leaving a comment and I can't see it. Now, as you can see, I don't want this text to be perfect. I want it to feel a bit messy. I want that fine line between being messy and being able to easily read it and being correct. But I'll be, once this is done, be showing it to a couple of people. Give me some feedback on my text. So who knows, I might still be doing a little bit of changing of my text down the track, but I'm getting close. I've done all the other pages up to R. I'll be able to show you all my other pages in a minute. I might just get through and finish this text here. I think text is good to do as a warm-up, actually. Just gets you in the groove of getting your stylus on the pad or getting your finger on it, because I've had styluses before, they always break. You never forget your finger stylus, you always got that with you. And sure, my finger stylus is probably a bit big, but that's why I zoom right in. And so when I do these text blocks, also to make them pop, is I copy them out, copy the layer, and put an alpha lock on that layer, and just blanket, make it black, and put the black layer behind and just offset it to give me the shadow. It's just quick and it's easy. Sometimes add a little bit of blur to it. That's one of our roosters in the background. That could be Lightning, or that could be Mr. Cuddles. Mr. Cuddles has got his name because he's got a bit of an attitude, that chook, and we tried to turn it around and make it more kind and loving, so rather than him coming up and wanting to fight you, well, we've turned it into him. He just wants a hug. The kids are mildly terrified of him, but so if anyone's there on the live, maybe let me know if you think it would look better with a black and white striped furry background, or suns as on the wallpaper. I always use a distinctive thing as the background, because if you hadn't noticed, I love making wallpaper patterns. I've even started, I've been doing it for a while now, been making wallpapers out of the animals themselves and putting them on socks and blankets and other wall art as well. I just love it's I think you might call it finding patterns in nature, and as humans we're often looking for the patterns in nature, and so it's only logical that my next step is turning animals into patterns. It's kind of giving it a help. And apparently, so I tried to go live. This live streaming software I have allows me to go live on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. However, I'm not live on Facebook because apparently I need 100 followers, subscribers, call them what you will. I've got about 70, I think. Facebook was one of the last places I decided to join for some reason. Well, I'll tell you why, because I felt a bit shy and reserved about putting my stuff up on Facebook, because that's where most family and friends are, and sometimes you don't want to put yourself out there. I'm fine with putting myself out there to complete strangers, but the people I know, I'm a bit more self-conscious. Just give my hand a bit of a rest on the left-hand side, because I'm actually on an angled table drawing desk and I'm holding the iPad up. Because the table is mounted on the steering wheel of our bus, which is kind of, it doubles as our home sometimes. Sometimes it's just our place to chill out when we're doing stuff on our farm, get in out of the sun and have a cup of coffee, cool down a bit. And sometimes it's the art studio, which is always find it funny talking about art studio because it's a desk. And that's about as big as my art studio gets. One day it'd be nice to have a art studio. But it's funny, you don't really need it. It's nice. Well, you do probably need it if you got paints and canvases and things like that. But almost done with my text here. The sun-loving kings and queens. Oh, speaking of sun loving, I've got a bit of sun trying to ruin my page here. Had to pull the curtains across because the early morning, the sun's just rising and it's a very low angle. It's wanting to come in and blow out through the screen here. Okay, so now I can get rid of... Oh dear me, see what I've done? I've made a mistake, but I can do something. I've put the text, as you can see, on the same layer as the image. Not good, not good. But if I grab the cutout tool, copy that, give it another layer, and then paste. There we go, thank goodness. Now go back to this layer. Triple finger swipe down, cut that. And that's gotten rid of that, which is perfect. Oh, I don't even need the Queen Charlotte Goshawk up there either. And so now what I'll do is I'll slide that across, duplicate that layer, and alpha lock it with some nice black spray paint. It's weird, it's like I've got still some white behind there. What's that? Oh, that'll be the actual text. So I can get rid of that. And put that text behind there. And it helps here if you go in a bit closer and just offset the shadow a bit like so. Looking good. So, Ring-Tailed Lemur. Get rid of the trees. And you can see how I've got the shadow here. So let's have a look at the other one. I might as well go, I'll take this opportunity to go through the alphabet with you. The alphabet thus far. So here we have our A is for aardvark. I won't read through them all. I'll probably do one where I actually read the story or do a storybook screening or something. You can see here I've got ants in the background. Actually turned that into a print, the ants itself, into a scarf. We actually bought that. I'll show that next time. And also other things for like on pencil cases and things like that. It's just, I really like my ant pattern I've come up with. B is for Barbarossa. I need to go through at the end and just get these texts the same size if possible. C is for coconut crab. I really like this one. I like the color balance on it. I like the way the text works. I like the colors on it. If I can get them all to the point where I actually really love color scheme, the wallpapers, the way the text fits, there's a lot of elements that I've got to like. This one I've got to make either add a bit more text or yeah, but I am a big fan of the Dumbo octopus. E is for electric eel, and this one I might need to use a bit of white on the actual letter E, because that kind of fades into the background a bit. F is for flying fish, not the colours you would imagine for flying through the air with a flying fish, but I do like the way it looks. I like to come up with colours which aren't obvious what you choose, you know. Goliath beetle. G is for Goliath beetle, H is for howler monkey. And you can see all these backgrounds, you know, like the clouds for flying fish, lightning like electricity bolts for electric eel, the kind of grubs that the Goliath beetle start off as. Howler monkey, I've just drawn kind of vines. The ocean for the immortal jellyfish. This one's a bit obscure for the jumping spider. I've done these little jumps with little arrows. You can see little arrows of little jumping along. Komodo dragon, the lynx, the manatee. I don't think these are common animals for an alphabet. Narwhal, okapi, and see the okapi how I've used its kind of butt stripes, zebra style butt stripes as the background, because you know that's one of its most prominent features, and when we're doing headshots we can't really, head drawings, we can't really do that. The eggs of a platypus, the forest for where, you know, the coastal forests where the queen Charlotte goshawk live. I'm really happy with the way this turned out because the trees have kind of got this feathery kind of look about them. I thought that was, I impressed myself. It's nice when you can impress yourself. So my original drawing of the ring-tailed lemur, if I can find it through all of my drawings, probably this one. The background is this. And you know, I've done this so long ago, I've almost forgotten how I did it. But the ring-tailed lemur, and I don't know whether I should try and fit 13 rings. So ring-tailed lemurs have exactly 13 alternating black and white rings on their tails, making like one of the most recognizable lemur species. And their tails are longer than their bodies, measuring up to 20 or about 60 centimeters long. But you know, if I do too many stripes, it might be too busy. I think I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to try and bring that over to my main page here. If I can find it, here we go. So, getting experimental. Just make sure it's all on a fresh layer and then it's fine. So to start off with, I think I'll probably use like a spray paint. And then it's like what kind of font works well with that. It's a bit thick. And that doesn't have to be perfect. Now, I'm tempted to do them both as separate layers. I'm not sure why just yet, but we'll see. Even make it a bit thinner than that. I think I can even do a few more stripes. Don't want to do too little stripes. And let's find another layer for our black stripes. And I probably should make the background black because as soon as I start to, I think I'm going to try smudging, do a brush smudge between the layers, and don't want to expose any of that green at the back. Where have I got my white underneath so I can, actually I'll just go really big and just go white, there we go. And then the smudge tool, Let's have a look. I think we've got organic. I think there's like ones that are called hair, but I just wonder what twig looks like. Can't do it like this because this feels like the natural way. Now I'm doing it on my, so I'm gonna need to smudge the black layer. Oh yeah, that's probably the way you can do it. Yeah, this is, I'll go with that for a little while. I'll even make it a bit smaller. It does give a nice hair effect of a ring-tailed lemur's tail. Yeah, so the ring-tailed lemurs have exactly 13 alternating black and white rings on their tails. And their tails are longer than their body. And you see them run, they're quite amazing. And they're used for balance while climbing and leaping through trees. But they can't grab onto branches with them. They're mainly a balancing thing that they use to balance. And they do race around the place, so they do really need, imagine racing around the forest, running and jumping through trees. They need that kind of balance. And apparently there must be something with black and white with like the skunks as well, because the male ring-tailed lemurs settle their disputes with stink fights. They have these scent glands on their wrists and shoulders, which they rub onto their tails, and during a fight they wave their tails at each other, releasing an intense musk odour. The lemur with the stinky and the most persistent scent wins the battle. So, who would have thought? The stinky man wins the game. But that's how it is with the ring-tailed lemur. If you want to impress, you gotta stink. And we've also got in the uncommon animals of the alphabet, when we're talking about stink, is the zorilla, which is meant to be one of the stinkiest animals around. So gotta love that. And you think when you're an animal out in the wilderness or whatever, you can't just go take a shower or anything like that. You've getting stinky is actually not very, very good. Well, I'm kind of liking the way this looks. It's kind of, because their tails are quite fluffy and long, and as we've said, and a stink waving tails. Be interesting to see how how I can make the text work. That's going to be my next challenge. I think this fur for its tail is actually turning out better than my original one that I did. And by the way, the lemur's not blue in the face, but as I was explaining before, I like to make them very bright. Just trying to shield the sun coming in on the screen here. So it must just be that time of day. Morning in Kautaui, South Australia. The birds are chirping. I'll certainly be happy to get another page done. You know, this is potentially the longest kids book creation in history, but you know, who knew we were gonna start a cafe. And we started a cafe, and we did that for 2 years and had no time for anything else. It was all consuming, and because the cafe had a gallery, I thought, oh well, yeah, it's kind of taken me where I want to go. You know, what's better than having your own gallery? Being able to have the time to actually create the work to put in the gallery. That's the answer. That's the answer right there. Trying to wiggle those hairs around a bit more, make them look a little... See, the ones over there looking a bit more, I was a bit more adventurous with them. This is actually surprisingly, like, I've been mucking around with hairbrushes before. Hairbrushes, that's funny. And with not a lot of success, but this kind of smudging method seems to be working quite well. Let's go in the chat and see if there is any chat enter. If I make it a little bit bigger, where was I at 16? In terms of my smudge size. That's quite a good size for it, I think. So the ring-tailed lemurs, also, like, if you've ever, I suggest you check them out online, but they're incredible jumpers or leapers, and capable of leaping like about 3 meters or so. They must have these massively strong legs. I mean, you just look at them and they're so muscular. And as they jump through trees and across the land. Of course, they're from Madagascar as well. Apparently they're one of the most terrestrial lemur species. And the ring-tailed lemur is, so what I've been doing, I've been mucking around with the idea of relating them to the kids. So one of my kids' name starts with R, and she got I'm an uncommon animal with a ring-tailed lemur shirt. My other daughter starts with a Z, and she got a Zorilla shirt, and they got the artwork for the ring-tailed lemur and the Zorilla hanging in their room. It's, like connecting the kids to the letter that the animal starts with and their name. And I think that works really well. And I've even done a commission where I can even show you. I think I can show you if I can find it. Did A is for Amelia and Aardvark, which is kind of like just a bit of an adjustment on the original drawing. Oh, here we go. Here's one that I used for, there they are. And so it's a really great idea to personalize this artwork and make an uncommon animal, adopt an uncommon animal. And it might as well be, one that works with your name. I'm liking this. The background looks good. I can't read the text though. What can I do? Maybe I can do a bit of switcheroony. Let's find out the blue here. And maybe I do white on blue and black on white, if you know what I'm talking about. A bit of a spray paint. No, you don't like that. Thank goodness for undo. It's a bit of a weird one because, when you're working as high contrast as black and white, yeah, this is going to be tricky down here. I've made life difficult for myself. Might work, might not work. That's the fun about doing these lives. I can make mistakes in front of everybody. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. I might have to see what my editors have got to say about this. I go, yeah, about the not the Madagascar page, the lemur page. The text is a bit wacky. I'll go black a little bit more there. I think that's actually not too bad. I'd love to hear your opinion. Or the alternative is that kind of blue. Let's do another one of these. And it's still got alpha lock on it. Probably lose the shadow. Why is it? Oh, I have to lose the other one as well because it's. Yeah, so if I use the shadow on. Why can't I see that? Maybe because I haven't done it. Yeah, I think we're coming towards something a bit more workable here. And of course, when it's bigger than this, like when it's on an actual page, because it'll be about, the page will be about this big, will be about this big. That's Ring-Tailed Lemur. You'll be able to read that quite well. So there we go. R is for ring-tailed lemur, a primate with flair, a wild striped tail in the Madagascar air. Agile and social, they love to play, communicating with sense in their unique way. A social bunch, in troops they swing, for they are the forest's sun-loving king. Quite like that one. This bit, as I was reading it, it's actually important to read it. As I was reading it, I was getting a little bit hard to read through there. Even though I wrote the words, you think I should be able to remember it, but anyway, thank you. And you see here's the middle of my page. Canvas, turn off the drawing guide, which is halfway. So that way I know I've got everything centre, hopefully got enough trim around here. So there we go. R is for ring-tailed lemur. It's in the can. Be able to assemble it some stage soon. It's quite different to all the others. It's very high contrast, but there we go. There's all my finished pages. Brings a tear to the eye. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me in the live stream or the playback. Please comment and like, and I will get back to you if you've got any questions. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Hopefully, probably be next week. Okay, bye.